Hi, and welcome to another episode of Bespoke Architects Daily Pinup. I'm Nicole Walters, Director of Bespoke Architects, and I'm about to show you what inspiring images from around the internet met our Pinterest boards today. It was a very inspiring weekend of images that have come in. A lot of materials, a lot of working from home spaces, obviously that's very on trend at the moment. Some interesting bathrooms, and some architectural forms. So let's get started. This little project up here, I really liked their external use of materials, which is this black brick, the rounded corner that they've gone for, and then how they've extruded what appears to be to the naked eye a random brick. So I really like the way they transitioned around that corner. This is the interior of that same space, so it's in fact a kitchen, and we can see that they've gone for a white brick on the inside. I actually pinned this because I like the material palette of this kitchen. So we've got this pale blue overhead component, this stainless steel base section, and we've got the brickwork, and then what looks to be a highly polished floor with a blue and white fleck in it, which obviously goes with this material palette. So I found that to be really beautiful. Then the working from home spaces were quite inspiring. So this is obviously a mezzanine level where we've got some battens forming the balustrade to the lower level, but just the shape of the room itself is really interesting with the curve on that side, and then these high level windows that are obviously giving you a view to the sky. So I found that a really beautiful space. Again, desks around windows. This one has built-in furniture next to it, so if you're getting tired you can lie down. I really liked this desk within the window. The window is sitting to the outside face of the brickwork. This is rather a deep wall, and we can see that the desk therefore is recessed into the window reveal itself. And on this window we have a day bed and some built-in joinery. So that just were two really beautiful windows. It does look like a bedroom. It looks like a bedroom, a bed rather, in this lower left corner of that image. So I really liked that. Whether as I've said on previous episodes, I wouldn't actually like to live in the space, work in the space in which I slept, but I really like the concept of those two window treatments. This image here, I really liked the materials. We can see it's actually a kitchen in the background. There's their range hood flue. And they've used a timber or a timber veneer and a concrete, precast concrete, by the way that goes over the edge there. And then the way that this just transitions, this kitchen bench just transitions down to become this low sort of seating area in which to work at, with some overhead storage and some drawer storage next to it. So a lot of people do like working close to their kitchen and close to the hub of the activity. Again, if you were in a working from home situation and you had small children, this location mightn't be ideal, but certainly the material palette and the integration with the kitchen is what made it make the board today. Another mezzanine level solution, we can see the tree tops here, and we're in the apex of that gable. It just feels like a really light and airy space to work, so that's why that one has made the board, and it looked to have a glass balustrade to its edge. This image here I pinned because I just loved A, the shape of the table, and then B, the way they'd done the built-in seating, which is sort of like a window seat and then it wraps these walls. I just really found that as a dining nook to be something a little bit interesting. It's not your traditional sort of square shapes in there. So that's why that image made the board. This project here, I really liked that vanity unit with the wall-hung basin. Not so keen on this white trap with the organic brass tapware, but again, just a really nice vanity unit. And then vanity units here in a shared bathroom. So this is a public work bathroom, and it has got just this screen wall that has got plants on it that also has the hand basins in that, and sort of gives you a view into the bathroom on the other side of the wall. Interesting concept. Really like the way the plants are integrating, really like the openings within that screen wall being in that sort of coloured resin, and then the vanity basin itself. So that was an interesting concept, and that's why it made the board. This little kitchen here made the board for the materials. We can see it is that induction cooktop with the downdraft. I really liked the mosaic tiles. There's obviously sliding doors looking at the track in the ceiling and the floor that conceal this cooking zone. And I really liked the concrete bench top. So that's why that one made the board. From the same project, this built-in booth seat, sort of couch, and then it has this tiled end sort of table on it, which I found really interesting. The material palette reflective of the kitchen. The staircase from that project I really liked. I liked the use of the brickwork that was the wall to become sort of the foundation for that staircase and the lower couple of treads, and then we transition into the timber with the mesh. I actually have pinned this project before, but it has got some really nice details in it, and that's why it made the boards again today. This little project here, it was just that patineering metal cladding that I really liked the look of it. The blues and the browns are really working with the landscape in that particular instance. This kitchen here, it was about the layout. So we can see here we've got our wall ovens. Over here is an integrated fridge, and I say that because of the break in the doors. The island bench has the cooktop with the canopy style range hood, and then the back bench has the sink. So it's a rather large kitchen, and it sort of has that cooking zone at one end, and then we can see a dining at the other end. So it was just an interesting layout, and that's why I made the board. This little project here, it was the approach to the sloping site and the way they'd sort of created these staggered pods that sort of descend down the slope, which was really interesting. And of course the lower level being car parking, and the way that that was a different material, making it look like those pods are still floating. I really liked that. This image here, it was all about the joinery. I really liked the way that it turned the corner, and it felt like it gave the space depth because it felt like it was open behind. This image here, it was that screening on the upper level that caught my eye. I really liked that timber screening. I'm not sure what's going on behind it, but it does add interest to that facade, and the fact that it sort of cantilevers out on a different angle is also of interest. Really liked this shower. I liked the skylight, and I really liked the curved shower screen. We can see the channel there on the floor and the wall, but I just really like the green glass. It sort of goes with that tile, but I really like the curved shape. So that's why that one made the board. From that same company, they're obviously a company that sells sort of shelving. Not so keen on it in a shower, obviously, unless it'd just be a problem to clean. But I do like it around this wall hung vanity unit. It's sort of just offering a bit of bench space to put product on. So I really liked that as a solution. This image here I pinned actually for the window furnishings that we can see in the distance there around that kitchen area, and just how that sort of Roman blind does block the view out of that top part of that window, and just the impact that that has. So that's on my window furnishings board, just to allow clients and I to have that discussion, but also the light above that dining table is just amazing. This image here, I pinned it for the stair. We've discussed this sort of style of stair before. The structure for this stair is all sitting in that solid plaster wall. We can't see it. The concrete treads then cantilever off that structure, and then suspended off the concrete tread is the glass balustrade. And there can be some huge engineering feats achieved to pull that off and to stop the glass from flexing too much as you're walking down or up those stairs. So as you're walking, your weight's shifting from one step to the next, therefore shifting the load on the glass. That's the balustrade on the end. So it's quite it's a beautiful staircase, and I love it. It just, from an engineering perspective, is quite a challenge, and therefore quite expensive. But it is definitely worth putting up on the board. From a different project, another staircase, we can see it's concrete, but these are sort of terraced treads that sort of work in between different levels. I really like this shadow line that they have going on at the edge of the plaster work. So instead of having the plaster going down to the floor, they've created this little bit of a shadow line effect to sort of differentiate between the two materials. I quite like that. I also like the way they've done these giant plain sort of reveals in all their openings. This is obviously not a full height window, but a mezzanine. And then just the way that that frames the staircase leading upstairs in the far windows. I just thought that was a stunning image and a really interesting staircase. So that's why that made the board. From that same project, I really liked this joinery, the material palette of it, and then the way in which it sort of emerges from that wall, and the proportions of it. So the bottom is fine and the top and the side are thick. So I just really like that as a joinery unit. That's why that one's on the board. This little house here, it was these solid timber doors. They're sort of like 2 sets of French doors on an angle that open outward. They've got some joinery, freestanding furniture rather, on the inside of that. But it was just, it looks really interesting when the doors are open, and there was some images on that article with the doors shut and therefore offering like a timber look panelled wall at the end of the room. So that was nice. I really liked this. It's more of a commercial solution. It's what we call spider glass. So it's got a spider bracket that's holding the glass onto the wall rather than a traditional frame. I just really like spider glass. So, and I very rarely see it. And it could have a residential application. It's just a really nice lightweight facade, often used in curtain walling in commercial projects. This image here, I pinned it for the kitchen island bench. It's a very unique shape. It's a very unique kitchen. It feels like it has quite a low ceiling, but I like the material palette around it, but I particularly like the style of this island bench. We seem to have a cooking zone at one end, that being the range hood. The sink is here. Not sure where their ovens and fridges are, but it's just really beautiful materials. And then something slightly different, this more industrial style piece that's been turned into an island bench. I quite liked that. I really enjoyed this window seat here. So, you know, sort of descending down into a different room, and then to maintain that floor level, they've created this window seat that looks out to a courtyard and offers storage to the lower level. So that was a really nice solution. This vanity unit is just stunning. It's just a stunning piece, very Scandinavian, sort of a throwback to the sort of 50s or 60s style there. I think I've got a credenza at home with a very similar shape and legs on it to that piece. Just a beautiful vanity bench. And then finally, we have here some internal screening. It was a very interesting application into an apartment. So that was all the inspiring images that were coming in from around the web over the weekends that we've pinned. If you are looking for more design inspiration, please check out the rest of our pins on Pinterest. We do have them organized into boards. We are also on Instagram, and all of these videos, plus many more, are up on YouTube. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. I look forward to catching you tomorrow. Thanks. Bye.